I'm Amy Brown with Miranda Lambert on iHeartCountry, and we just heard Actin' Up from the new Palomino album. So what can you tell us specifically about that song?
Well, it's a lot of words. I've done it like 4 times live now, and I've not nailed it at any of the times yet, and I'm the writer of it. So I was like, why do we do that? There's nowhere to breathe. But I love it. To me, it's the first song on the record, and it sort of sets the tone of like, we're about to do some shit.
So that's why it's first.
It's why it's first. We're easing you into the party, you know?
Okay, so you are co-writer of 14 of the 15 songs, which is amazing.
I've never been a producer on a record. This is the first one. But my friends, Luke Dick and John Randall, co-produced it with me, and Jason Lenning was the engineer, and it just felt like such a collaboration because we all wrote the songs together. It was, sometimes the rules aren't that you're supposed to have a lot of fun when you're making a record. Sometimes it gets really hard. And this was fun and easy. And I think it's because I collaborated with my friends, and we just were chill about it.
Now, speaking of fun, you have a Mick Jagger cover, Wandering Spirit. So why that cover on this album?
I fought with the boys a lot about this one. I love that song, and it's obviously Mick Jagger. It's like, you don't try to cover that. It's like Dolly rule. Like, do it different or don't do it at all. You know what I mean? Because you can't do it as good as Dolly or Mick Jagger. But Luke was convinced that it was just such a bow on this record, just tying a bow or put the cherry on top, because it says everything we say in this record about a journey and about being a gypsy. And so we gave it a whirl, and I was like, if we try like a Ronstadt vibe, maybe I could get into it and like find my place. And we did, and I love it. It's one of my favorite things that we've done because it really pushed me to do something that I was not comfortable with at first. Luke's like, we have to have this song. So I'm really glad we did it.
Before you go into the studio to record something, is there something like you do?
Well, no, more on the road. Like, our job is to bring a party, so we kind of have to get in one of our own selves before we walk out here. And but in the studio, I bring tequila everywhere, or Tito's, one of the two. And so I'm always like, when the studio gets tense, I'm like, everybody needs to take a drink break because this is getting weird.
So, like, you have a glittered water bottle up here in your microphone. So what's in that?
This is my Tito's and soda. This is my whoopee, but it's empty. That's why I messed up my song. But yeah, no, it's like we have a balance. We do, like, when I say we do tequila before the show, it's like the babiest shot ever because we're babies about it, and then we're all like, oh God, it burns. But that's our one rock and roll thing we do.
Oh yes, I feel it. So you've also got 3 re-recorded tracks that were originally featured on the Marfa Tapes. So why put those on here?
The Marfa Tapes is one of my favorite things I've ever done creatively, and those songs, like, the reason we put out the Marfa Tapes was because I thought, well, these songs are just going to go somewhere in a work tape land and go away and never be heard, and I really wanted to, I don't know, it felt right just to do a raw version. I've never done that before, but as we started writing for this record and the journey it was taking, those songs fit so well, the ones that we chose to do, which is In His Arms and Waxahachie and Geraldine, and I thought with all these characters, yay, I love that one. With all these characters we've met and all the places we've been, those songs just slid right into the record in the right spots. And it was really cool because I guess, a lot of us, me being a fan of music, and a lot of fans, we don't get to hear the raw work tape version and then a recorded album version of songs like that. So it was cool for me to get to bring them to life, especially Geraldine. Like, it was so fun to sort of bring this, like, picnic blanket work tape into a ZZ Top rock and roll vibe and hear it all come together. So it's fun.
Well, and more fun that you have coming up this year is the Bandwagon tour with Little Big Town.
We're so excited.
So tour dates are starting up, and I think there's like 30.
Yeah, we're starting in May, and that is like one of my favorite. This is Bandwagon 2. We've done it before a couple years ago, and it's so much fun. The only problem is that Karen and I get together and drink wine and don't actually get the set list together. So now we're having a meeting this week with like supervision, like band leaders in the room, so we can keep it on track. But like it's really fun. It's just like we sing, we each do a set, and then we do like a really long set together, and we intertwine a ton of our songs from our 20 years long careers, and so it's just a blast. It's like a low pressure, high energy. We have both bands on stage too, so there's like 19 people on the stage at this point, I think. So it's pretty cool.
Oh, Yeah, that's a lot happening.
It is. It's
Sounds
fun.
Amazing. And I think the one thing that would get me in trouble being on the road with Karen might be shopping.
Yeah, she does that too.
Yeah.
I don't, but I go with her and like follow her around with Rosé. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty. You should buy that.
So how much have you missed touring during the pandemic?
I'm thankful for the opportunity to miss it, honestly. I'd never, ever taken a break like that before. And it reminded me that I do love it but it also taught me balance, you know? I mean, there's a time where you have to look at yourself and go, I need to do some life stuff too, not just constant grind. And by not doing that grind, you miss it so much more, and it means so much more every show, every time on stage, you know? We came back after like 312 days of not playing shows and did Billy Bob's Texas 5 nights, and it was awesome. But we cried like every night because we were just so like emotional to be there and thankful, and the crowd was so thankful. And I think we all just look at shows and entertainment in a different light now. It feels good.
I agree. And now I want to transition a little bit to your clothing line, Idlewind.
You're just hitting all the points, Amy.
Yes, I want to know all the things. So it's described as being built for the everyday girl who's also a badass.
Yeah. So all of us. I started it, I named it after my horse. I started riding horses at 30, which I would have started at 3 because it's a lot harder at 30.
Wait, so you're telling me it's not too late? I'm 41.
Do it, girl.
Okay.
Do it. I'm not very good, but I act like I am.
Okay. There's hope, y'all.
She knows. Ellie knows I'm not, but nobody needs to know that.
Okay.
But I named it after her. Her name's Idlewind, and it just, we were talking about this brand and what it meant to me, and the clothing that we were doing was, you know, jeans and riding boots and fringe, like dress up or dress down, barn clothes to bar clothes, but feeling good in either one. And Ellie inspired me at 30, like to just get on and ride, even though I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and to take a risk and to not be worried about age or like how green I was, to start something new that I really loved and fed my soul. And so that's why it's called Idlewind, because it's named after my horse, Ellie. So it's awesome.
And I'm totally going to try out that vibe. Barn clothes to bar clothes.
Yeah, and it's real easy. You put a fringe jacket on, you're ready to roll. You might smell like horse shit, but nobody cares.
Well, Miranda Lambert, thank you so much. We're all going to add Palomino to, our listening all the time. Yes,
all the things.
You're adding it to your amazing body of work, and we can't wait to see Miranda Lambert Velvet Rodeo, the Las Vegas residency. Again, that's at Zappos Theater at Planet Hollywood Resort and Casino. And then we're all going to be downloading, streaming, buying, purchasing all the Palomino, listening to it nonstop.
I love it. Do it all. Thank you so much.